Ceasefire begins as Israel pulls back troops and displaced Gazans return north. Explosions rock Kabul amid Taliban's diplomatic outreach to India. Deadly quake strikes southern Philippines and tsunami alert lifted. Burkina Faso rejects U.S. deportation proposal and calls it indecent. Well, good afternoon and welcome to The World in 30 minutes on Politics and Business Television. I am Bulus Joanna Ray. Many thanks for joining us. Details of these news stories and more content to come after the short break. Stay with us. In a major development, Israeli forces have begun withdrawing from parts of Gaza following the approval of the first phase of a ceasefire agreement. The move has prompted thousands of displaced Palestinian families to begin returning to northern Gaza many years after conflict and uncertainty. The ceasefire, brokered with guarantees from the United States and other mediators, including the exchange of hostages and prisoners, and marks what Hamas negotiators have called the end of the war. While the full roadmap to lasting peace remains unclear, the troop pullback and civilian movement signal a crucial turning point in the region's humanitarian and political landscape. Meanwhile, a series of explosions and gunfire rattled Kabul late Thursday night, just as Taliban Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi arrived in India for a 6-day diplomatic visit aimed at strengthening political and economic ties. While the cause of the blast remains under investigation, Taliban officials have downplayed the incident, stating no casualties have been reported. Taliban officials have downplayed the incident, stating no casualties have been reported so far. The timing of the explosions has raised eyebrows, especially in light of Pakistan's growing The timing of the explosions has raised eyebrows, especially in light of Pakistan's growing unease over the Taliban's engagement with India. Reports suggest the blast may be linked to airstrikes targeting Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan militants, further complicating regional tensions. As Kabul reels from the shock, the Taliban's push for international legitimacy faces a new test on the diplomatic stage. In the meantime, Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado has been awarded the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize for her unwavering commitment to democratic principles and non-violent resistance. The Norwegian Nobel Committee praised her for leading a peaceful transition movement in Venezuela, championing electoral transparency, human rights, and judicial independence despite facing political persecution. Machado, who founded the Vote Monitoring Group Summit in 2002, remained in Venezuela through years of authoritarian rule and economic hardship. Her recognition comes amid growing global support for democratic resilience and civilian courage in the face of repression. In other news, Asian markets closed mostly low on Friday as investors weighed the risk of potential U.S. government shutdown and growing fears of an overheated artificial intelligence sector. Major indices in Hong Kong, Tokyo, and Shanghai saw notable declines, with the Hang Seng Index dropping over 300 points and Japan's Nikkei shedding nearly 470 points. Despite recent record highs in gold and Bitcoin, sentiment across trading floors remained cautious. The sell-off was triggered by concerns the valuations in the AI sector may have surged too rapidly, fueled by massive investments and speculative optimism. OpenAI's multi-billion-dollar chips deals with Samsung, SK Hynix, and AMD added to the frenzy, pushing tech stocks like Nvidia to unprecedented levels. Analysts warned that the rally could be unsustainable, promoting investors to hedge against the possible correction. Compounding market jitters in the looming threat of a U.S. government shutdown, which has cast uncertainty over global financial stability. We are still watching News the World in 30 Minutes live on Politics and Business TV. Still to come, Japan plunges into political turmoil as ruling coalition splits. Stay with us. Welcome back. A powerful magnitude 7.4 earthquake struck off the coast of Manay Town in Mindanao, southern Philippines at 9:43 a.m. on October 10, 2025, killing at least one person when a wall collapsed in Mati City, the largest urban center near the epicenter. The tremor triggered widespread panic and prompted authorities to issue a tsunami warning urging evacuations along the eastern seaboard. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center later lifted the alert, confirming no further threat of destructive waves. The quake caused structural damage across several towns, disrupted public events, and left residents shaken. Emergency services remain on high alert as aftershocks continue to rattle the region. Meanwhile, Japan is facing a major political crisis following the collapse of its long-standing ruling coalition. The junior partner, Komeito, announced its withdrawal from the alliance with the Liberal Democratic Party, jeopardizing Senator Takeachi's bid to become the country's first female prime minister. Takeachi had just taken over leadership of the LDP and was expected to be confirmed by Parliament this month. The breakup ends a 25-year partnership that had provided Japan with relative political stability. The fallout has already rattled financial markets, with the yen weakening against the dollar and the Nikkei index closing down by 1%. Komeito's leader, Tetsuo Saito, cited unmet reform demands and a lack of cooperation from the LDP as reasons for the split. As Japan navigates its unexpected uphill, analysts warn of prolonged uncertainty and potential gridlock in policy making. In another development, Burkina Faso military government has firmly rejected a request from the United States to accept migrants deported under President Donald Trump's renewed immigration policy. Foreign Minister Karamoko Jean-Marie Traoré announced the decision on national TV, describing the proposal as indecent and incompatible with the country's dignity and sovereignty. The migrants in question reportedly have no ties to Burkina Faso, prompting officials to question the rationale behind Washington's approach. The rejection adds to a growing chorus of African nations pushing back against external pressure to absorb deportees, with critics calling the plan exploitative and dismissive of national autonomy. Well, that wraps up the program, but before we go, the headlines again. Ceasefire begins as Israel pulls back troops and displaced Gazans return not. Explosions rock Kabul amid Taliban's diplomatic outreach to India. Deadly quake strikes southern Philippines, tsunami alert lifted. Burkina Faso rejects U.S. deportation proposal, calls it indecent. Well, for me, Bulus Joanna Ray, do have a lovely day. Bye for now.